it for those that are maybe are working or can't get on. I just want to get right into it. If we take an hour, we take the whole hour. If not, I know this is going to be so good. So I kind of want to give you a little bit of a backstory about how Amanda and I kind of connected. It's so good to see you, Amanda. I miss you, friend. So it's kind of crazy how this whole thing went down. You know how you can get sent a friend or a message on social media, but if they're not your friend, sometimes it goes to your other folder. Well, what I didn't realize is years ago, Amanda had actually sent me a message on Facebook, kind of just saying that I was kind of an inspiration for her. She loved following me. She would watch my posts for ideas and stuff like that, but I didn't see it, so I never responded. And for those of you that have been in the business for a while, a few years ago, they did a contest, and it was top Emerald enrollers got a chance to go to the ranch. But they also did a contest that if you did a video about our pixie sticks, and it was called like a no water needed challenge video, that they were going to pick the few winners and you got to go to the ranch as well. So Amanda actually ended up being one of the top Emerald. And Trista, do you want to mute everyone and then I will unmute myself? Okay, there we go. And then Ty, my son, he was the reason, but I ended up getting to go to the ranch for being one of the video winners. Well, it was so funny because being the way that I am, I may seem outgoing, but I'm actually not outgoing, and I like my comfort zone. I stick to the same group of people, and I don't go out very much. So when I saw the list of winners, this sounds super crazy, but I went to see who all the winners were, and I literally tried to go through all the people and see who I thought looked the nicest. Like, oh, who do I think that like I can talk to, or who do you think I can make friends with? Well, it was funny because when I went to my messages to go message Amanda, she had messaged me and I had just never seen it. And so we end up connecting at the ranch, and I just feel like we kind of hit it off immediately. We're very similar when it comes to motivating ourselves and having that work ethic built in us. But I also think maybe our delivery is a little different. And so that's why I'm excited for, my team to hear from you, but as well as your team to hear from you in a way that like, I think you're one of the best. And I genuinely mean that. Like, I have nothing but positive things to say about you. And because you know this about me and my team knows this about me, guys, I keep my blinders on when it comes to sidelines. It's not that I'm not one team, one mission, but I can easily get in the comparison trap. I can easily kind of get distracted, not even comparison trap, but I can get distracted. There are few people that I allow on my timeline, and Amanda is one of them because I'm extremely inspired by her. So Amanda, will you unmute yourself and just kind of tell us your story?
Oh, well, thank you for that. I feel so special. You've told me that before, and I just feel like you can always tell me that. This feels so special. Thank you, my friend, and I miss you so much. Brittany got to stay with me when we had our event here in Phoenix, so it was just so fun. But hi guys, I'm Amanda. I had been in this business for 6 years, and I started off working full-time as a dental hygienist. And we literally living paycheck to paycheck, even though my husband and I both had, good careers. Dental hygienist, he did commercial real estate. His career very, it's not very stable, so my income was really our stability. But I had $120,000 of student loans, and I had over $30,000 of medical debt and credit card debt. And so we were literally living paycheck to paycheck. We would borrow money and put everything on credit cards. And so on top of that, after we had our first son, I wanted nothing more than just to stay at home. And so a little bit like before this started, struggling financially, plus I struggled with mom guilt. I had anxiety. I cried a lot. For 2 years, I was praying for something just to come along. And never did I think it would be something like this. In fact, when I first started, I was almost a little bit embarrassed to even say I was doing something like this because I went to dental hygiene school. Like I had my degree. And so, but I saw that other people were doing something like this and making money with it. And I thought, man, we're living paycheck to paycheck, living on credit card debt, like having to borrow money from my mother-in-law here and there. And, you know, I thought, okay, something has to change. So I didn't even really know much about it, but I put $99 on a credit card, and I had 200 people on my Facebook, you guys. I didn't have Instagram. And I remember just praying that I could make extra money with this. And I wasn't too serious my first week. I kind of dabbled into it. My friend is the one who signed me up. She doesn't do this business anymore. And so we were literally the blind leading the blind. We had no idea what to do. In fact, I found Alyssa, and that's how I found Brittany, because I followed Alyssa. And so I followed Alyssa, and I learned so much from her YouTubes. And I remember it was like my second week in the business. I went to, we call it a one team, one mission. There was like 15 people there, you guys. But I will tell you, I went to that event thinking, I just want to make $200 extra a month. And I left that event completely changed, because I saw that real people were making money. I saw that real people were coming home to their kids, paying off debt. There was another dental hygienist there, and instantly I thought, okay, why am I selling myself short for this? I want more than just $200 extra a month. Like I want to come home to Jax. I want to be a stay-at-home mom that I desire, that God put into my heart. And I got to work, you guys. I figured out what I needed to do that, which was getting to Double Diamond. And I thought, okay, I am just going to wake up early before I go to work, which I went to work, you guys. We left the house at 6 o'clock. So I had to wake up at 5 o'clock every morning. So I'd wake up even earlier. I would make sure like I got post up or just anything I needed to do, get organized. I worked in between my patients on my lunch. Sometimes I would even have to be like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom really quick and hurry and text somebody back because I wanted to close the deal. And I would come home, have time, put Jax to bed, and I would get to work again. And in 5 months, I went Double Diamond, and that was what I needed to do to get to stay home. I got pregnant again with our second son, Crew, and I went down 1 day a week until they could find another hygienist. And after I had him, I retired completely. So I've now been retired for 5 years, a little over 5 years. And you guys, this business, like, we are in the right place at the right time. Like, I will tell you, in these last 6 years, I'm Ambassador Diamond now, but in these last 6 years, I will tell you, and I love this business. Like, Brittany has probably said this, you probably have heard this, like, this does not seem like a job. This just seems like part of our life. Like, this is just, it's just what we do. And so I've always loved this because of what it does and how it helps you grow, and how you can be the best version of yourself, and you can be, have the strengths, and you can grow, and you can just be challenged. And I love every part of that. And I will tell you guys that I have never been more excited than I am now. Like, we are literally about to break through this crazy, crazy ceiling that, and it's incredible what we have. And so I'm so excited for each and every one of you.
That was so awesome. It's funny, like, even though I know you and I feel like we're super good friends, I hadn't heard some of the details of your story. And it's so funny how similar our stories are. Like, it's almost like gives me chills how similar they are. And I think what it comes down to is the fact of, both of us, we didn't have the 99, we put on a credit card. We didn't expect much out of this, but all it took was hearing one story for us to be like, okay, well, why not me? Why not me, right? And so I know you kind of mentioned that it was going to one of the team meetings, the one team, one missions, that it clicked for you. But what do you feel like it was, other than hearing from them that there was nothing different? Do you think there was anything different that just all of a sudden it clicked and you were like, whoa, wait, this actually can be more than just a little bit of money. I can actually go and do anything I could think possible with this?
Yeah, well, after I saw that real people were making money, that was like the turning point for me. But still, I think that I definitely had limiting beliefs, along the way. And but I will tell you, once I accomplished that goal, then I thought, okay, this business, it really isn't about just God putting this business onto my lap and it just changing my life. Like, look at all the people who I'm changing, that I've helped change, you know, and at Double Diamond. And so I thought like that was a really big, like, you know, breakthrough for me, saying like, okay, this is so much more than what I ever thought. Like, I actually accomplished this goal. Like, now what? You know, and so, and at every rank, you guys, I felt the same. You know, I think after I really hit that Double Diamond rank and that huge goal of me being able to come home, it was just like, okay, now what can I do more? Like, what's that next step? Who else can I help? Who else can I bring home? And that's really been just my purpose and my passion in this, is who can I help, who needs this $200? Who can I help see the vision and cast this vision on them? And even when I went ambassador, I remember, you know, going ambassador, and I remember I had like even a new fire for this. You know, you're able to open up your 2.0 account, and I just thought, you know, and I heard, you know, ambassadors would get to ambassador. And I remember I went through this. But I was like, okay, I got here, and, you know, it was kind of like, okay, what do I do now? You can open this. But I also heard that people would get stuck. And so I think I tried just to, like, I heard people would do that. So I tried so hard not to do that. And so I just kept going. I just kept thinking like, okay, what do I need to do now? Like, what's my next purpose? Where do I need to build? Like, where do I need to go? And I think just God always just brings me back to, you know what, it's not what do I need to do. It's not what, you know, how many customers can I get? How many distributors can I get? It is, who can I help? Who can I help come home? Who can I help get out of that credit card debt? Who can I help so that they're not struggling? And I will tell you, like, once like that mindset, you know, shift like happens, and there'll be times where I'm like, okay, I need this, I need to do this. But those are the times that I'm not getting those enrollments as much, or I'm not getting those distributors as much. But when I say, okay, Lord, like, I'm ready, just tell me who I can help today. Tell me who I can serve today. That is when my business just continues to rise. And so, you know, I really think there's just been so many different changes throughout, you know, the business and these 6 years that continue to help me see like, okay, this is a shift, this is a change. And, you know, it just helps you keep going in a new purpose.
I love that. And I know that you had invited and came on here as well. I love that. So I want to speak into them for a second, because I think there's something powerful about hearing from someone that's not your upline, right? Like, I always jokingly say that, like, I know my team gets tired of hearing my voice because I'm like one that speaks the most of the time or whatever. And so I want to speak to your team for a second, because my team's heard this. But you mentioned it at the beginning of your story when you were saying that, like, you've never been this excited. And I think that sometimes people hear that and they're like, no, I think they're just saying that because it sounds good because momentum is hot. No, I can honestly tell you, I've not, other than my first year in the business, but that was because it was fun and it was new and like that was all exciting itself. I've never experienced anything like this. But there was a big aha moment when listening to Mark and then talking to Cammie today that I want your team to hear from my perspective, is that when they talked about, and Amanda, I know you heard this, when they were talking about how the last time they went on a big run, I honestly just assumed that me, you, Trista, like that, the group of us that have been here that long, I assumed we were part of that. I was like, oh, I bet that's like when we joined and like social media exploded. And then to hear that the run that they're talking about was before we even came in the business, like that, like gave me chills, that motivated me. And I was like, hold on a second. This has changed my entire life, a lot of my friends, a lot of my family's life. And you're talking about a run that I wasn't even part of. Like, I guess I just assumed that we were part of that. And so now I'm super pumped, because I know that the intensity that we're feeling now, the momentum that we're feeling now is absolutely insane. But it's going to come down to the ones that take it seriously. And like you said, just believe and start doing the things. Now, the other thing I wanted to touch base on, because you mentioned it, is about the 2.0. You know, I dabbled back and forth. You know, I promoted to ambassador last March. And so for a while, like, I opened it, but I didn't do anything with it. And to be honest with you guys, I had like the whole like limiting belief thing, like, should I do that or should I keep doing what I'm doing? And honestly, I had a mindset, like, something shifted in me. And I was like, you know what I hear a lot? I hear a lot about from potentials, right? People you talk to. I feel like I missed the boat, or I feel like I should have joined a long time ago. So to be honest with you, the reason why I decided to run with my 2.0 is to prove that it can be done again. I'm like, you say that you joined too late? Game on. Game on. I'm going to start right now, and I'm going to do it in 2 or 3 months. And I'm hoping that it inspires all of you to watch all of us do these things, because if we can do it, why not you? Here's something else about you, Amanda, that I've always looked up to. And obviously, I didn't know you very well until like the ranch. So I knew you had got to go there for being a top emerald enroller. But then since then, anytime there's been a contest, anytime there's been a promotion, anytime there's been something that can be earned, anytime there's been some sort of like big event going on, you can 99.9% of the time guarantee that you're going to hear Amanda's name in that list. She's going to be invited. She's either going to be in the top 20, or if she isn't, she's going to be invited as a mover and shaker. She's going to get the enrollments where they need to be. So if you had to be I know the work I put in. Mm-hmm. I know it's hard work. Now, it's the easiest hard work I've ever done. Mm-hmm. Right? The hard part is being consistent. What do you feel like, what do you do to make that difference, that when something comes out, you don't even question that you're not going to be invited or that you're not going to be there? What is it?
I think the first thing that I do is I just visualize myself being there. Like when they announce like the ranch, they being the top emerald enrollers, I immediately thought, okay, I'm not green at all, you guys, so I don't know the details, but I busted out my charts and I said, okay, who can I get to emerald? Who can I help get to emerald? And so just immediately, as soon as they announce something like that, I believe that I can do it. Because we all are able to do it. Even if you just signed up as a distributor, like everyone has equal chance of getting it. And so one, I just believe that I can do it. And two, I want to show my team that they can do it too. And so I just always try to lead them, the best way. If I'm encouraging them to do this, then I'm going to make sure I give my 110% with it. So I believe that I can, and I visualize it. The very first thing I did with the ranch and with the leadership retreat is I had like this, those little those light boards where you can put like the little letters in and the words in. I immediately, as soon as that call was over, I went and I go change it. I said leadership retreat, top 20. And I saw it every day, and I would write it in my journal every day. Like, I'm so excited to be at this leadership retreat. Like, I'm in Costa Rica. You guys, we still had like several months, and there's so many people who are just incredible with this business. And so, it's just believing that you can be incredible too, that you are incredible too. And so I think just really believing that you can is number one. Believing that you can, and then every single day, like I'm so big into visualization and, seeing that and looking at it. Like if you went into my house or into my room, you would see, stuff and words and amounts of money that I want every single month everywhere. If people didn't do this business and they walked in, they'd be like, what is wrong with this girl, But it's everywhere. And so, oh, did I freeze?
Nope, you're good.
Oh, okay. You guys were like frozen for me. But, I think visualizing is really huge, but then you have to put the work behind it, so I figured out, okay, for, the Costa Rica, I'll talk about that one because that was just the closest one. You had to have a certain amount of rubies. So I made sure I had the most rubies out of anyone. I don't even know. And I think I did, besides like Marwa, I think I did have the most rubies out of anyone. And so that was number one. I was like, okay, how can I have the most rubies? Who can I help get to ruby, in this time? And then it's just putting the work behind it. So, like in the Bible, it always says like, have that faith. Like you can have all the faith that you want, but faith without work is dead faith. And so, meaning like I can say all day long, I want to be top 20. I want to go to Costa Rica. I want to do this. I want to go to Margaritaville or whatever. I can say that all day long. but that is dead faith unless I put the work behind it. So those are probably the three things. Like, you have to believe in yourself. You have to tell yourself every single day and have that faith that it's going to happen, and visualize yourself even be in there. And then you have to get your work to, behind it. You have to get that work. And in order to get that work, you guys, like, you have to prepare yourself. Okay. So how many, like, if you guys are going for a diamond this month, how many distributors do you need? How many customers do you need? What work is it going to take every single day for you guys to get that rank? You have to prepare for what you want. That way you can, work for that rank. God won't just give you diamond unless you are preparing, for that rank, unless you are preparing to be that diamond leader. And so I always say, like, and I think those are the three things that probably just pushed me to get those.
I love that. And I've never told you this, and it's seriously so embarrassing. Like, I can't believe I'm actually going to tell this on a recorded live event with my team, but I'm super, super competitive. Okay. Not necessarily with my team, because it's like a team, but like sidelines, I'm like, game on, or who's doing this? Like, who can I compete with? Do you want to hear this is so embarrassing. When they released this contest and you made a comment that you were going to go, I started visualizing you going. Why was I visualizing for you going to, like, I'm not even playing. Literally, anytime I would see something, I'm like, oh, Amanda's gonna go to that. Like, oh, well, hold on a second. Like, I mean, obviously, like, that's how much I love you, but like, why would I not have put myself in there? You know what I mean? And so the reason why I tell you that, like, I tell you this, I'm gonna be inspirational with it. There's been times that I've been invited to things. There's been times that I've earned things, and there's been times I haven't. And the only difference is that I actually thought I could do it. Right? So it all goes back to the belief, because I've never lacked work ethic. I always know what it takes. So, but when I believe that I can do it, then the work follows up right there. So I've loved hearing that from you. Okay, next thing, because you are a very hard worker. And I don't want people to think that they can, get their journal out, write all the things. And I'm so glad that you brought up faith without works is dead. And that's why, I always say, like, don't just talk the talk, but walk the walk. Like, I always say, don't tell me what you think I want to hear, because I can't help you with that anyways. Like, if it sounds good, right? So that goes into my next question, which is, what does a day look like to you? What are, like, your non-negotiables that you will not enroll customers, or you will not enroll team members if you don't do these things?
Yeah. So, on our team, we call it the core 5. There's 5 things that we just absolutely have to get done. And within those 5 things, you can do things a little bit differently. And some of them are even broken up, and I can go into that. But you guys, now being in quarantine, like, I am using this time to even, like, coach more, to be more, like, loud with my team, in front of my team more, and so but the 5 things that, like, are an absolute must, whether I have an hour a day or 3 or 4 or 5 hours a day, depending on my day, these 5 things are just something that it's like you're eating. You have to brush your teeth, you have to get ready, take a shower. I mean, I take a shower like every other day, but these things I do daily. So these are the 5 core things, and those things just you can't stray away from them, because if you lose like a day or 2 days, that's literally putting yourself back like 2 weeks. You're putting yourself, you might go like 1 foot forward, but if you stop and don't do it for 2 or 3 days, you're putting yourself like 10 feet, 10 steps back. And so I think, like, with the faith and the belief and all that kind of stuff, you do have to put the work into it. And I think consistency is so key. Consistency and discipline to do these 5 things. And I always say these 5 things are literally the easiest thing, just like what Brittany said. Like, they are not hard at all. Like, our kiddos, my 8-year-old can do these 5 things. And so, it is really, what is the difficult part is our mind, and being disciplined, and, being consistent with these 5 things. And so the 5 things, do you want me to go into the 5 things, Brittany?
Yeah.
Okay. So the 5 things that we do, you guys, number 1 is self-development. And, if I'm going to be honest with you, self-development is going on in our house all day long. My husband, I do primarily do this business, but I will tell you, he trumps my self-development. He will listen to, I don't know, I don't even know, but he probably like quadruples the books that I read in a month. Like, it is crazy. He reads at least one book a week. And so, self-development is going on in our house the entire time, whether it is on our TV or whether it's on a podcast that we're listening to, or when I'm in here working, like I have something playing. So I'm either listening to a podcast, a book. I have like 2 books that I'm reading at the same time that I'm listening to. Things like that. Just self-development's always going on. I'm really big into a morning routine and waking up and starting your day off on the right foot, and starting your day off with your mind being, 100% ready to tackle on whatever the day is going to bring. And so self-development's number 1. Number 2, you guys, is posting. And everyone has their own, post that they do. And so I just recommend making sure that you're posting every day. You're posting about the product, you're posting about the opportunity, and you're posting stories. Instagram, Facebook, and posting is letting people know that, what we have to offer. It's letting people know that, okay, Amanda is doing this business and she's making money with this business. If I posted all day long about the products, then I probably won't be getting distributors. And so I do always tell like my team that, if they are struggling enrolling distributors, then, a lot of times it's because if I go to their Facebook page, it's only about the products. And so it's really important that when we post, it's about those 2, products and the opportunity, and that we're doing our stories as well. Number 3, you guys, which I think is absolutely so huge, is every single day this has to be done. Whether you have 5,000 friends already, or you have 200 friends, like every single day, our network needs to grow with new people, new potentials. And so growing your network. So my friends list is already high. So every day I delete friends and I add friends. And so I'm always, getting fresh fish in there, fresh energy into my Facebook. My results are always down when I'm not consistently doing that. And so making sure, you're always getting new people in. Number 3, what am I on? Number 4 is going to be by relationships. You have to grow relationships in this business. And so one thing I do before I make a post is I will comment on about 15 people, depending on how much time I have, 15 people right before I make a post. I'll comment and interact with them. I ask them questions. I send out happy birthdays. But growing relationships is really important. Maybe it's just I send my potential a message and just say, hey girl, I just saw your post. It was so funny. Like, your kids are so cute. It has nothing to do with the business, but just growing those relationships with people, because, people are going to buy into you. They're going to buy into the trust and, what you are, what you're putting out there. And then the 5th thing, you guys, is going to be messaging. And this is so important. And I think that this is the one thing that people probably stray away from or fearful of. And so messaging, you guys, that's one thing that I think that's where I get my high enrollments, is by messaging. And there's 3 messages that I send out every single day. They are host to post messages, follow-ups. I do follow-ups every single day. There's not a day that goes by, because if you're working this business consistently, you're going to have people who are telling you that they're going to sign up each day. You're going to have somebody tell you that they're going to sign up. So, follow-ups are huge. And then the 3rd type of message I send out every day are going to be potential distributor messages and product messages. So I call those like just my 1, 2, 3 go messages. And so a distributor message, here's what I do with them. I don't just message just anyone to be a distributor, but I do message every single person that posts for me. Okay, so every single day, my goal is to get 10 people to post for me. So that means that the next day, I have 10 people to send a message to about the opportunity. And I'll put my message in here for you guys. But I get so many people. In fact, I just had one of my girls who just said, hey, I just sent that message out for the first time and I just got a distributor today. And then Sherry Lynn Akala, I gave her the same message, and she just got 2 distributors just from the message. And it's just by asking them, hey, you just made this post for me. Thank you so much. Are you interested in making extra money? And so it's just asking people. And then the product one I send out is same thing, like, hey girl, just wanted to see if you wanted to be one of my product testers, just something so simple. But it gets a lot of, it's just, you're putting it out there, you're asking them, you know? And so I think I always look at like messaging as, you know, we get people all the time, not so much now because of quarantine, but all the time knocking on our doors, telling us about their, you know, bug business that they do or their landscaping. They're going door to door doing that. And so the beauty of what we do is we can do this all through social media. And so instead of us going door to door or picking up the phone, calling people, we get to just send a message and send another one and another one. And that's how we grow our business. And so when we kind of take the emotion out of doing those 5 tasks, instead of thinking like, oh, I don't want to bother them, or I don't want to, you know, get negative like feedback or no's, when we take the emotion out of it, it's just like you get the work done, just like you have to clean your kitchen or, you know, do your chores, you know, in your house.
I love that. Thank you. Okay, so the next thing that I was thinking of, I can already hear, I mean, first of all, I want to acknowledge to my team that's on. Did you guys hear that all of her things, like she didn't tell you anything that you didn't already know or hear, except for I love the idea of sending that follow-up message the next day and asking about the business and product. Other than that, there's no special sauce other than the fact that she clearly is very on it, very routine driven, and same thing every single day. Okay. So going off of that, Amanda, I guess my next question for you is, in order to do that, because if you're like me, I wake up and like right now, 29 text messages, 5 messages on Instagram, and I can't, and 15 on Facebook is like what my alerts are telling me. How do you stay organized to know, like, are there sheets? Is it notebook? How do you like to stay organized? I know everyone's different and we just want to hear your ideas.
Yeah, I'll go grab my folder really quick. Hold on. So I love what you guys probably all have, but Alyssa made this, and I do this every single day. I print this out, and honestly, you guys, like, I've always kind of done this, but having to print it out and like literally writing on it every single day, like it's just a game changer. And so it keeps me more accountable for myself too. But I have those. So I printed those out. And what I did is I printed this on one side, and then I have this on the other side for when, if I do more than 10 hosts to post. Or what you could do is just, I have my team just print this on both sides. So then you print out 15 and that's your you know, your work. You have to, this needs to get done every single day. And so this is how I keep organized. So before I go to bed, I will make sure that this is all done. And if it's not, then I just have to stay up a little bit later to get it done. But that's one thing that kind of keeps me organized. I will tell you guys, I'm like a messy organizer. So if you saw like my charts right now, I'm going triple 2.0 this month. Look at, this is like my rec right here. Like you would probably like pass out. But this notebook is literally my life, and I take it everywhere because this is where I put all of my potentials in. And so what I do is you have your calendar. And so every time somebody says, okay, Amanda, I'm signing up that day. So if they told me that they're signing up today, they are going to go in my calendar. That way I know, you know, I'm going to follow up with them today. That way they don't get, you know, slipped out of the cracks or slipped through the cracks. And then what I do is every single, like in my notebook, I have just different, let me show you. I have just different like little pages. And so every month I will just put potential customers, and then a couple pages back I put potential distributors. And so every time somebody says that they're interested in the product, their name goes down on there, you know, every single time. And so that allows me to go back in March and follow up with all of my potential customers, follow up with my potential distributors. So I just write everything down and I keep it all in this notebook. That way it's right there, you know. So during like this promotion of, you know, having that $50, like that is so amazing. People, you know, new distributors get $50 right away towards products that they want. So I'm going back through all of my March. I can go back through all of my, you know, February and January potential distributors because they're right here. Their name is right and, you know, written down. So it's really easy for me to follow up that way. And then the other way I like to follow up with just like my current customers is through the Connect app. And what I do is I just label them, March customers, and I have them all in March. And then I have April customers, and I have them all in April. That way it's easy for me to go and follow up with them.
I love that. So you would definitely say that, would you say that a lot of your success comes from following up with people?
Oh, absolutely.
And would you say
Absolutely.
that most don't sign on the spot? You have to remind them they want to do this.
Yep, absolutely. Most of my people will come from follow-ups. However, I will tell you guys, if you guys are doing a host to post and you guys are doing them, it's a numbers game, you guys. So if you guys are doing them consistently, I will tell you, like, I will have people every day sign up, at least one person sign up from a host to post that day. And it's because it's a numbers game. I'm getting out at least 10 or more host to post every day. So from those, I probably have at least one person to sign up that day. But all those other potentials that I just got from that day, they're going to sign up, the next day, a week from now, a month from now. Potential distributors, same thing. Like, I think it's the average, or it takes about 7 to 11 or 12 follow-ups before somebody actually joins you. And so following up is so huge. And I have had it where I've like not put the person down, or I haven't followed up with them, and I go to follow up with them and they're like, oh yeah, I just signed up. And I'm like, oh shoot, like I need to get on my game, because that shouldn't happen. I should be the one to always be in their inbox following up with them.
I love that. Thank you for acknowledging that, because the same thing happens to me sometime. And I think it's kind of like, they're like little wake up calls.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, that person was interested, but you kind of like, and for me, it's when I don't stay organized that I notice, the biggest difference. Okay, we're going to talk about real quick your hands-free, or your videos you do in your stories every day. Okay, so a little backstory on that. When we came out with Just Celery, who was it? Is it Rachel Coakley, I think, that was doing the coffee videos?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so she was doing this. We already knew that like there was a lot of success in going hands-free, but I remember actually Alyssa, I think she like interviewed her in in one of the Carolinas. Anyways, I don't even know what I'm talking about. But anyways, it was an event, and I remember hearing it was like, you have to do it every single day. Some days you're ready, some days you're not. Some days the baby's on a hip, you just got to do it. And I remember dabbling with it a little bit when the celery came out. I was like, okay, I'm going to do this every single day. And then, just to let you know that this happens to me too, I had someone send me a not nice very message. And they pretty much said, oh, can you tell us how to stir your celery again? They used some very not nice language and left me this voice message, okay? And I'm going to be honest with you, I wasn't put down by this guy that was leaving me a rude message, but I was like, yeah, I probably talked about it enough. So I stopped doing those videos. And the people that know me, they probably watched me stop doing those videos. And then I started watching you do them. And I kid you not, every single day, Amanda is showing up to now do her celery sometimes, but always her morning breakfast. And obviously that changes. So how much feedback and what success, like, why do you do those? Like, are you seeing success in doing it every single day?
Yeah, I do. And so and probably the same, I'm like, oh man, maybe I shouldn't talk about this again. Like, it's literally the same. I use the same words, like, hey guys, like, I'm just going to make my morning breakfast. Like, it's the same stuff over and over again. But you guys, like, and I've done the same thing with celery, but if I don't do my celery, you guys, I will be doing my skinny brew or my, my coffee. And so it is the consistency. If you think about it, like, and I always try to remember this, like, when I feel, like, oh man, should I really do this again? Or I feel like I'm just repeating myself over and over. But I will tell you, my inbox, and I don't work Instagram too much, but I get customers all the time from it, from my stories and just from that. And I will like, it's just the consistency. And so I forgot what I was going to say, but I think that doing that, and it's like the commercial that you see, like, and I tell my team this, they probably have heard this a million times, but you're watching TV and like a Taco Bell, I love Taco Bell, so I say this, when a Taco Bell commercial comes on, and you're like, oh my gosh, that looks so good. And then you're watching TV and it comes on again, you're like, oh, that looks so good. And then it comes on and you're like, okay, I need to get that. And then it comes on again and you're like, okay, I'm out the door. I'm going to go get Taco Bell, and it's like the same thing. You're going to have somebody to see your story and they're like, okay, that's interesting. Then they're going to watch Brittany do her celery again and be like, okay, wow, that helped her with her bloating. Like, whoa, like look at her skin. Then they're going to see her do it again and again and again. They're going to be like, okay, I need to get this too. You know, and that's really the point of it. And so I'll go. I remember just a couple of days ago, I just did it when my hair was crazy. I'm like, I'm just going to do this because I had such a busy day. And I looked back at my story and I'm like, I cannot believe I did my hair like that. Like, but I got like 2 customers from it, you know, but my hair was crazy. Like I literally looked like a train wreck. But guess what? So does everyone else on Instagram who are at home right now. So, you know, it doesn't matter what you look like, what you sound like, what you say, because you can say things wrong and you can say the wrong word or, you know, something that isn't correct, but they're not going to know. You are, you know, the profession of this. Like you are, they're thinking that you know everything about everything. And when you go live or when you know, do a video about it, that gives you even more, like people are like, whoa, she really knows what she's talking about, you know, even if you say wrong words. And so I think that I do it all the time because of the results it gives me. And sometimes my mornings are nuts, you guys, just like your guys's, but I will tell my kids, you guys be quiet. Mommy has to do a video really quick and I'll get it done. And that just sets my day up, you know. And the other thing you can do is you can save those videos. And you can use them for other days too, as long as you don't say like, hey, happy Monday, you know, you can use them for other days.
Oh my goodness. I love that. And so going on the end of that, once I started doing them again, because I was like, all right, I'm just going to model the 3 or 4 people that I look up to, that I respect, and I see that they're doing things the way, like with integrity, the way that I want to do things. I'm just going to start doing it. And what I've noticed is I am signing people, right? But here's what I want to inspire those of you that have done it, and then maybe you do it one day and then you don't for 4, 5, 6, 7 days, then you do it one day. What I have found is that would be like someone saying, hey, I recommend this phone, right? And then you never see them carrying that phone again. You'd be like, huh? They recommended it one day, but like I don't see them doing it. So were they just recommending it because they were trying to sell me something? Or are they recommending it because they were getting something from it, right? I feel like by me showing up every single day, even though it's the same thing, I think it solidifies the fact that I'm not selling you something. I'm going to use it whether you buy it or not. Now, here's why you want to buy it, you know? The other thing, and Trista, I think, just put this in the chat, and this is so true for me, is that now that I've been doing a good job of like unfriending a bunch of people and then re-adding people, I'm noticing that it's a whole new network of people watching my stories, especially like on Instagram, which I've never really done anything with. And to me, that's exciting. So now when I make those videos, I'm like, okay, these 70 people may already have heard this spiel, but these other 100 people have never heard it. And so what I would tell you, those of you that feel silly saying the same thing over and over again, the quickest way to not feel silly is to be adding to your network, because then you will mentally know you're talking to someone you've never talked to before, right? And so, because I know your team on here well, so I want to give them a little bit of inspiration, is whatever it is that's stopping you from getting to the next level, we all have those objections. What I would do is try to find a solution for that objection ASAP, because that objection and that thing stopping you, it's been placed there for a reason. Because Satan knows that if he can just get you off track for even a day or two, the people that were thinking about joining you, but they had a little bit of doubt in their mind, and they're like, I just want to see, like, I want to see what Amanda has to say for the next couple days, and then I'll decide. And then let's say the next couple of days Amanda doesn't show up, right? Because Satan put something in, like a roadblock in front of her. Then all that did was that answered your potential questions right there. Like, okay, I knew I shouldn't do this. Like, I can already kind of see this person going in and out. So that's a big difference that I will say that I believe that's where a lot of my success came from. I believe it's where a lot of your success came from. I know Amanda's showing up every single day. Even on vacation, she shows up. Now, does she intertwine it into this? That way she can still enjoy her vacation? Absolutely. But if she's anything like me, which I know you've probably felt this way, it's the reason why I worked on my honeymoon. My husband's like, did you work this morning? well, yeah, this business paid cash for the honeymoon. Yes, I'm going to work my business. It's going to pay for our next 25 vacations. You know, it's all about making it priority. Okay, real quickly, I want to talk about with your host to post. Do you stick to the ones that Amy Spence was talking about? Do you make your own? Do you have everyone do the same thing? What does that whole thing look like for you?
Yeah, so I do I do a lot of the coffee, and so does my team. And I'll give you a couple of reasons why, but I also do the Thermofite X, which like Amy does. And I did the Thermofite X forever. And I think that was a big host to post that like helped me get to ambassador, and the cleanse was the one that helped me get to presidential. And so, I think that you just gotta, whatever host to post you're gonna do, you just have to do it consistently. So if I was to switch right now and mostly do Thermofite X, I would be getting the same results as I was as the coffee, as long as I'm doing it consistently. Does that make sense? So I really do the coffee a lot, and I'm going to tell you the reason why I personally like to do the coffee. So one, it is very easy for me to upgrade the coffee, just like it is the Thermofite X. So we all do, some of my team, we all pretty much have the same verbiage, but some people will tweak stuff here and there. And so, but pretty much we all have the same verbiage. With the coffee one, I change out my graphic every single week, just 'cause I don't know if it helps with the algorithm or what, but just to keep things, a little bit, changing up a little bit. But here's what I love about the coffee is that it's very easy for me to upgrade the coffee for our customers to get the best results, right? We want them to have the best results. And let's be honest, they're going to have the best results with 2 or 3 or 4, multiple products. So it's very easy for me to do that. But every customer is on on the skinny brew or have an upgrade, they have the best results like in their first week. They are seeing results instantly. They are falling in love with the products instantly. And so, I will have customers literally on it for day 3 and they're like, oh my gosh, like my energy is so good. Like I feel so amazing. Like I am addicted to this, and so I feel like I am seeing them have those instant results, which is immediately turning them on to more products. These products, they're loving them. And I'm just having really amazing customer retention because they're immediately finding that the products are working for them. And so, and in the Thermofite X too, and that's one of the products that I upgrade them to with, so I put the Thermofite X in there, but there's just something about that skinny brew that are giving them those results instantly, and whether they're feeling them instantly or not. And I will have some people on the Thermofite X too, but it just seems like my customers coming in with the skinny brew are just having those results. And so that's why I do continue to, do the skinny brew or the keto coffee.
Yeah. Okay. So with your giveaways, do you tend to be able to get away with making the post like, hey, I'm giving away so-and-so, or do you actively message people and ask them to post for you? Which one do you feel like you do the most of?
So we do both on our team. So for me, I will post about the giveaway maybe every 3 days and just do like a quick, giveaway. And that will give me, typically I get quite a bit of interaction from them, depending on what the post is. And that could give me host to post for the next couple of days. And all I have to do is message them. But then every day we message people. So not only do we do the post giveaway, but we are big into messaging people. So if I don't have anything from like my post giveaway going on, if I've already messaged them, then I'm messaging probably about, anywhere between 50 to 100 people a day just to get 10 or more host to post out. I don't do that all at once, and it literally takes me like 2 seconds to do it because it's just a copy and paste message that we do. I do it from an active list of people that are on social media, that way that they're on there so they respond back to me pretty quickly. But typically, and I'll do it like about 30 at a time. So 30 messages here, 30 messages there. So it's very quick, you guys. It maybe takes like 5 minutes. And as soon as I do 30, I'll probably get anywhere between 3 to 6 people to say yes to me. And so that just gives me half of my host to post right there. Some days it's a little bit less. It just depends. But I will always message people to get host to post for sure.
I love that. Did you guys hear though her numbers? And so I think to me, some mentally are probably thinking, I want to do that. Then don't expect her paycheck. And I say that from a nice place in my red heart. Okay. I just don't like setting people up for failure. And so I want to be like, if you want what someone has, go do what they're doing. And the way I look is I watch this has abundantly changed my life, but I'm trying to get on like Amanda's status, right? And so that's what I just want to tell you is like, I want those things. I want to be able to do those things. And that's why sometimes you have to call yourself higher. So, okay, we have about a few more minutes and I want to wrap up so that we don't go over. But here's what I'm going to do, because I'm going to ask you a question that is not on the list I was going to ask you, but it's like, I feel like I'm supposed to be asking this. I think sometimes people sit on these opportunities or on these events and they hear from those of us that have seen success, right? So they think that it's easier for us to message and get distributors because we have this extravagant story to stand behind, right? Mm-hmm. Or we have tried a lot of the products, so we have extravagant product results. What I try to tell people is, yes, but once upon a time, I was a distributor with no customers, no distributors, super broke, and put the 99 on a credit card. No one came and built my business for me. So what would you say to someone? I really want you speaking to the newbies right now, like brand new people, okay, that don't have this crazy testimony saying I've earned $200 and some thousand in bonuses. Now, the good news is this will also speak to the ones that have been in a while, because this applies to you as well. What do you feel like someone can do right now to decide, like what's the sacrifice going to look like? What is it going to take if they're going to go earn these bonuses and make this something that they can earn a crazy amount of money with this business?
Yeah, well, I think the first thing that you have to do is figure out, why do you want those bonuses? Why do you want to get to that level? Why do you guys want to get to diamond in the next 90 days? You know, what is that $2,000 going to look like for you every single month? And what is it going to do for you? What are you going to feel like when you get that in your account every month? You know, you really have to know that why, because that's going to help you drive for those days that you're not wanting to work, that you're not, you know, those of you guys who still work full time, like, that's hard. You know, you're tired after work and now you've got to go run this business and build this business. And so I always, to be honest with you, when I first started, I looked at it as a game, and not like, oh, I'm just going to play this, but like I looked at it as fun, and I still do. I still have so much fun with this, but it was like, okay, who can I get next? You know, how many people can I get today? How many people, you know, I think the very first book, which I recommend you guys all reading this, is called Go for No. And as soon as I read that book, my mindset just changed. And it wasn't about, oh man, like this person told me no, or this person told me no. It's about, okay, how many no's can I get today? Because I know that I'm closer to a yes. You know, so I definitely recommend reading that book, Go for No. But I think it all starts with your why. You know, why are you wanting this? And that work is going to come. I think that honestly, if I signed up and somebody was like, you have to send out 100 messages, Amanda, I probably would have been like, huh? Like, what? Like, that's crazy to me, you know? But if somebody would have said, if you send out 100 messages, Amanda, I guarantee that you will average, you know, if you do that every single day, I guarantee that you are going to average anywhere from 70 to 100 customers every month. You are going to average 15 distributors every single month. You know, then I would have been like, okay, tell me what I need to do. I'm going to send out those 100 messages. But if somebody was just like, oh, you need to send out this 100 messages and just get it done, and then I wasn't knowing what the results are going to be, then I would probably be a little bit like, you know, I wouldn't want to do that. But I will tell you guys, if you put the work behind it, and I can speak to so many of my enrollers on here who send out 10 post-to post every day, 100 messages every day. You know, I think my girl Jennifer Weatherly, I don't know if she's on here right now, but you guys, she is almost at 80 customers this month. Like, that is nuts, right? And she does these same steps every single day. And so the results are there. It is proof in the numbers. And so, you know, you just have to think, okay, you know, is a little bit of lack of sleep worth me getting this $15,000 bonus? Is me watching, you know, skipping Netflix, you know, a couple nights a week, or, you know, every single night that I'm watching it, is that worth me getting this $15,000 bonus? You have to think, like, what is it worth to you? And to me, it was worth everything. I was willing to do whatever I needed to do to get where I needed to go, because I knew that that was my end result of what I wanted. I wanted to come home to Jax, and I was going to do whatever I needed to do, whether it was I didn't watch shows for 6 months, or I didn't do some, you know, but I will tell you guys, I love watching shows. Like, I do. And so what I do now is if I'm in a push month, like I'm pushing for triple this month, I will tell you I've not watched one show. Okay. Because I'm pushing for triple. That $30,000 bonus is more important to me than getting Netflix or watching Netflix. So I won't do it. But on days I'm not really not going for a huge promotion, or I'm just getting my work done, I will reward myself and say, okay, after I get this work done, then I will go watch my show. You know, then I will go do that. And so, you know, you have to think, okay, why do I want this? What is the reason behind it? And is that worth me putting the work behind it? You know, and like I said, the work is not easy. Me sending out 100 messages, you guys, it is not hard at all. Literally, if you start in the morning, you'll get all your 10 hosts to post out by, you know, early afternoon. And so, you know, it's not like I'm sitting here 8-10 hours a day working my business. Sometimes I feel guilty for working my business. So, you know, the amount of hours I work and getting those results that I'm getting, you know, because I'm like, man, I feel like I should be working, like, you know, sometimes I'll see my paycheck and I'm like, man, I worked, you know, 3 hours a day doing that, you know, but that's not, you know, not all days I'm working that 3 hours. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less, you know, it just depends on my day, my life. But as long as you're getting that done and you're consistent with it, like, you guys are going to go wherever you need to go. But you guys have to be the ones to decide, you know, am I worth this? Is this the reason I'm doing this? Is this worth it to me? And, you know, we can never say, like, you know, oh, I don't have time to do self-development. I don't have time to do those, you know, host to post. We can't say that, because we do have time. You just have to make it. You have to make the time for that, you know, and decide, okay, what do I want? Just one more thing. I remember I took this like mastermind class, and it was when I was triple. And I remember the person told me, he said, write down your day from the minute you woke up. And he's like, I want every single minute, like, jotted down. And, you know, because at that time I was like, oh, I'm busy, you know, I don't have time for this, I don't have time for this. But I will tell you, I had hours of time that was not accounted for, that I was either scrolling on Facebook, watching shows, like, just, you know, doing whatever. And, you know, we do have time for certain things. It's just, what is a priority to you, you know, and what is a priority to you? Like, is going diamond, you guys, getting that, you know, $15,000 bonus, like, is that a priority to you? It's 15,000, right? Is that a priority to you right now? You know, like, what is a priority to you right now? And you just have to decide. And then once you decide, you just have to go. You can't go back on your word. Once you say, okay, I'm getting diamond this month, I'm getting diamond next month, then you have to just do it. You can't go back on the promise that you made to yourself.
I love that. And I've watched you do that over and over again. Once you say you're doing it, you do it. And you said something that I wrote something down. When people say, well, I don't have time, to me, it sounds like you don't have time not to. If your schedule is so strict that you don't have time to do something that you want to do to better your family's life, it sounds like you need this more than what you even realize, because you need more time. And I love, and we're going to end on this, I love what you said is, it's just going to come to a point where you have to make a decision and prioritize. You know, in my first 10 months, I sacrificed a lot of time away from my son and a lot of time away from my family. And a lot have heard this story, but some of you haven't. I'll never forget, like, Matt's side of the family, sometimes they would text on Thursdays and say, hey, we're thinking about having a cookout on Friday. Can you come? And I'd look at Matt and I'm like, sorry, I can't go. And I know for a while, not that they were saying anything bad at all, but I know for a while it was frustrating because Ty and Matt were going to these cookouts on Fridays and Saturdays, but it was too late. I already had a wrap party scheduled. I already had all these things scheduled. And I remember looking at Matt and I'm like, here's the deal. I understand right now it seems like I'm not around, but I'm doing this so that we can have an abundance later. And it's the best thing I ever did was I did things that most people wouldn't do. And that's why I have most things people won't have. And so my question to you all that are listening is, why don't you go be that person? Why don't you go grab anything it is that you are working for? Because we're all working for different things. You're worthy, you're capable, but you just have to draw the line in the sand and go do it. And yes, go read, go for no. A couple years ago, we actually did this as a team. We made a team page and we were all like, had this challenge and all this stuff. It was crazy. So Go for No is amazing. Amanda, I cannot thank you enough for doing this. I appreciate you. Go get triple. I'm pushing for diamond and double this month, so I'm super excited about that. So I'm hot on your tracks, maybe a month or two behind, but watch out, sister, because I'm coming.
Yes.
And I don't know, I just appreciate you so much. And thank you guys, everyone, for getting on. I know we have families and other things we could be doing, but just remember, you're not taking from them. You're doing this so you can give to them.
Yes.
A simple little mindset switch can make all the difference. See you guys.
Thank you, Brittany. Thanks for having me, guys.